I just heard the legendary Charles Faulkner say something that is so very, very true. And for a while, I never thought I would say this until I became one of many that said it aloud. If Black women are the backbone of the Black community, then we got scoliosis. Bad. For those of you coming over from Dr. Charles's stream, I welcome you. I invite you to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you can, please help me and my family by donating via Cash App or Super Chat. Both of those things would be very welcome. Salute to the legend, Officer Charles. Absolutely. Now, I want to put it out there that y'all can ask me a question about any and everything, but this is the subject I wanted to hit tonight. I had planned to do something talking about being in an interracial relationship last week. Couldn't get the time to do it. I'll mix it in here. I think I saw the rebellion coming for a while. And from a very, very personal standpoint. What was that standpoint? I was in the hospital when I first got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was dating a young Black woman at the time. My question is quite simple. Guess how many times she came to the hospital to visit me? I'll ask that question again. And I don't mind doing it. And I don't mind coupling with something either. In 2010, got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Was dating a young Black woman at the time. Guess how many times she came to see me? I'll even let y'all think about it. Was it 3 times? Was it at least 2 times? Hell, was it at least 1 time? Not even once? That's right. Not even once. Even when I called and let her know what's going on and said, I need you. I wish you were here. Nothing except the code of silence. Hell, I'll rewind it back 7 years to 2003 when I was much heavier than this. When I was much heavier than I am now. I was diagnosed in Roseland Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, with congestive heart failure. Out of action for 3 weeks. Now, to repeat the same joke with the same serious answer, how many times do you think my mother came to visit? I'll even do it. I'll even do it again. Guess what? Same answer. You know who I got visits from? My nephew's father and my father. I got none from my mother and none from my sister. None. Do you understand? None. As I often jokingly misspell when I'm on my morning show, N-U-N-N, none. N-O-N-E, none. None. And that's only the part of the face of rebellion, folks. Only a part. My sister, who I assume is a cosmetologist. I say I assume because I haven't spoken to her in a few years, and I will get to that. I will get to why we haven't spoken since 2021. And I want to tie this all into a nice, neat, tidy bow to reflect back on the message that Dr. Charles Faulkner said earlier about the new face of rebellion. Man, my sister Nicole said something to my wife. You heard me. My wife. About her being the reason that I got cancer. Said it to her. Then my wife repeated it to me, and it pissed me off even more. And for those of you that are wondering, this is my wife. This is Jody. This is my beautiful Dr. K, my better half, my everything, who has been with me since day one when we met in 2018. Through everything, my battle with cancer, blood clots, an amputated toe, kidney failure, sitting in a wheelchair, depression, anxiety, from being in a wheelchair, from being disabled, from everything. She has been there by my side. Now that you know who Jody is, let me tell you what was said to her. What was said to her was, from my sister, mind you, is that Jody is the reason I contracted cancer. Let me say that again, louder. Now, to Jody's credit, she's handled it very well. Me, howsoever, not so much. You don't say that kind of shit about my wife just because she's not the color you expected her or want her to be. And I didn't even, dadgum microphone. I didn't even marry Jody because of her color. I married Jody because I love her. I adore her. I'm crazy about her. Every day, she makes me laugh. She keeps me on my toes. She makes me smile. Everything I've ever wanted, Jody is. And yet my sister had the unmitigated gall to say that Jody was the reason I got cancer. I want y'all to let that sink in. Let that sink in for just a few minutes. You think that didn't piss me off? You think that didn't piss me off? Oh, there's more. There's more. And a lot more I got to get off my chest with this. There's more. Not only did she blame Jody for me getting cancer, when my mom passed away 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years ago this September. I called Nicole while we were on our way up to meet her in Chicago. It was Nicole who gave me the news, my sister Nicole, who gave me the news. And the way she said it should have given me a clue right then and there that the rebellion was underway. When she said, and I quote, "Your mother passed away." What? I mean, she was your mother too, I thought. My mom lived to be 81. 81. Well on her way to being 82, which would have been January of 22. It disappointed her when she found out I had cancer. She's smiling now that I don't have cancer anymore because it took both my parents. But when Nicole said, "Your mother died," I lost it and cried because my mom's gone. My childhood now, that chapter is officially closed. When we were driving to Chicago, we drove from North Carolina. Drove from North Carolina. Stopped to get some rest. On our way up to Chicago was about, I'd say, 90 minutes plus. 90 minutes or less, I beg your pardon, away from meeting her. I called Nicole via Facebook Messenger. That'll give you an idea how much shit she has on the shelf. and said, "Where do I meet you?" You know what this woman said to me? She said, "If you're coming up here thinking you are going to get money, you can forget it." I parked in a speedway and I went off. I was calm when I told Nicole, unless you're going to apologize not only to my wife, but to me for the things that you said, don't contact me. Haven't heard from the bitch since. And I have the distinct feeling I won't hear from her. And that's fine by me. But for her to say that, just to go right to that, for her just to go right to that, boy, I cannot tell you how pissed off I was. I haven't cussed that much in a long time. And Jody heard every word I said. She was so scared that the police were going to come by and find me screaming and yelling and thought I had done something. Again, the rebellion lives. How come men don't have the luxury? How come let me throw this question in there just as a side note. How come black men don't have the luxury when they get hit with some traumatic news and when they get hit with a couple of pieces of traumatic news or traumatic happenings all at once, that they just can't completely go the totally hell bloody fuck off without being pointed at, without having a finger pointed at them saying, "See, he's got problems. You should do something about it." Really? Should do something. Oh, he has anger issues. There's the other one. He has anger issues. Really? Well, how the hell would you feel when your mom dies and you're dealing with cancer and you're dealing with all kinds of people that are against you because you married someone that is not of your color, race, religion, or creed? How about that? Oh, here's the curveball. You're actually happy with the person you married because you married the person, not the labels, the person. The woman I married makes me happy, period. Fuck the labels and everything else that goes with it. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys letting me ramble and listening to me. And if you can do a favor and slip me a donation via Cash App to help us get through the next couple of weeks, I appreciate it. That's one of the reasons um that's one of the reasons I'm doing this while I'm trying to find work and get back on my feet and get healed up and get working again. I got this, I got my play-by-plays to do wherever I need to do. But black man, how many times have you been pointed at when you've been presented with some very when you've been presented situations that just leave you high and dry and have no other choice but just to let those emotions out the way you need to let them out, the way you want to, the way you want and desire to let them out. But no, because of society, you're not supposed to. Bullshit, I say. My sweet daughter, Cheyenne, looked at my setup here in studio, pointed to the microphone, and said, "Pop, you need to use this as part of your therapy." Well, here's my therapy. Here's a part of my therapy session right here. And I will never discount her advice because I'm going to use it. The rebellion will never end. Period. We have always been on our own, black men. We have always been on our own. And I'm not afraid to say it anymore. until you find that one person that actually relates to you, wants to be with you, has no problem with who you are, is cognizant of the situations you have gone through, is cognizant of what society has done to you and against you. I can't say for you because we're black men. We already got two strikes. We're black and we're men. We already got two strikes against us. Me, I got a few extra foul balls because of the profession that I'm in, because I actually speak correctly, because I actually know what the hell I'm doing, because I actually took time to hone my craft. And Jody and I were talking about this before. We were talking earlier today, as a matter of fact. We were talking about this earlier today, that there are so many people that dive into YouTube and do um, live stream play by play that don't know what the fuck they're doing. It makes old schoolers like me feel like I'm being pushed out. Well, I'm pushing back. I'm going to push back and I'm going to go even harder. And when I think I've exhausted everything, I'm going to go harder than that. Let me pose a question to you, gentlemen. And I want complete honesty when I pose this question. How many times have women in your life said to you, you need to think realistically when it comes to your dream job? How many times have you been pushed back, held back, stepped on, stepped over, run through to try to get your dream job, only you can't get it because someone else got there first on no kind of merit whatsoever? And then you're told to think realistically. Fuck that. I always close my show with dream big, do bigger. My biggest problem, a little accountability here, I haven't consistently had a plan until now. And I mean that until this afternoon when I was doing my game. A plan started to come into my head. And all I could scream out loud was finally. Sometimes, and I've said this often, and I will continue to say it. Sometimes you just get fucking tired. You just get tired. And the more tired you get, the angrier you get. And the angrier you get, you're just like, I don't care anymore. But you should. But you should, man. You can't let. I'm going to say this in a way that a lot of people are going to think I'm nuts when I say this, but I don't care. Man, don't let people hold you back. More to the point, don't let the community hold you back. Don't do that. How many times have you had dreams and gotten talked out of them? Be honest with me. How many times have you gotten dreams and you got talked out of them? Because it wasn't the realistic way to attack. Natasha, how are you? Thanks for coming in. How many times, folks, have you had dreams and you're ready to chase them? You're ready to go after them with reckless abandon. And yeah, one thing goes wrong and you get a finger pointed at you saying, see, you shouldn't have pursued that. You got to think realistically. Well, take your realistic thinking and shove it up your ass. I got dreams to chase and catch and make come true and make it all happen. I'm tired of being told to think realistically. The only time I think realistically is when a plan don't work. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much. You know how many times, Jody, when I have come close so many times in the 6 years that Jody and I have been together. I've come close to saying I'm hanging up my microphone. Jody would turn me around, look me dead in the eye, and go, "Don't you do that shit. You give up your dream, I'm kicking your ass." She has literally said that to me. She said, well, later on, she'll say, "I'm joking around with you, but I don't want you to quit either." There was one time when I was recovering from cancer when she said, "I think you've given up." And that turned the light back on for me. She tuned me up with those words. The pursuit can't stop no matter what. More to the point, the pursuit won't stop. For me, the pursuit will never stop. What's up, Kevin? The pursuit will never stop. It ain't stopping now, and it'll never stop. I'm a black man, God damn it, and I got dreams to accomplish, to catch, to make happen. I also have a family that's along for the ride with me. They know what I want to accomplish, and they've all said the same thing. Go get it. I tell my wife and my children the same thing. You got a dream? Go get it. My wife told me I'm finally going to go get my doctorate. Sick 'em. What good would it do to hold someone back who has a dream to get? Huh? What good would it do? All right, let me say this boldly. What good would it do to hold a black man back that has a dream that can change the course of society and make an impact, a positive impact on the people in it? That's why I'm relaunching the Snowman Stadium tour. Because whatever funds I raise from that in the next year, I want to take a chunk of that and give it to the cancer community. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with wanting to be the best damn play-by-play announcer? What's wrong with wanting to be a black CEO sitting on $10 billion? Huh? I don't see anything wrong with that. If Byron Allen can do it, so can I. Matter of fact, let me tune you guys in to the exact reason, I've gotten into doing I got into doing play-by-play. There is a voice I want you all to listen to. Okay? And when you hear this voice, a voice of my childhood, and yes, Michael Jordan's involved in the play I'm going to show you, but don't think of that. Listen to the play-by-play voice and how excited that he gets for his team. And I'm trying to find that exact play. I'm going to take you guys back to February 16th, 1989. I heard this voice well before the play I'm going to show you, but it's so damn exciting. And one of the main reasons I got into doing play-by-play.
He looks to bring it in. He comes in, throws it away. The Bulls have it. Here comes Michael Jordan on the drive, 5 seconds. Jordan on the drive, right of the lane, 18-footer. Yeah! 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 Yeah!
the announce team from my childhood, Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr. Jim Durham is the reason I got into doing play-by-play. Wayne Larrivee, who I recently had on the show, is the reason I got into doing play-by-play. Oh, by the way, they're both white. Think I care? No. Because they actually know what the fuck they're doing. And God rest you, Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr. God bless both of their souls. Noir Truth's in the house with us. I learned to cut the cord, says Corey McPherson, and let the dead weight fall so I can continuously climb and soar. Corey, I can say this honestly. I finally started doing that at age 50. Cutting all the fucking dead weight. If you don't like what I'm doing, fuck it. Fuck you. Natasha says, I recall you talking about 3 mentors who did play-by-play, one of whom passed before you met. That would be Jim Durham. That would be Jim Durham. Jim Durham, I didn't get a chance to meet him. I met the other two. I met Wayne Larrivee in person, and I met John Rooney in person. John Rooney, 18 years as the voice of the Chicago White Sox before he moved on and went back home to be with his native Cardinals. Wayne Larrivee, met him at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana. Shook his hand, took a picture with him. Matter of fact, let me find that. Let me find that picture right now. And while I'm thinking about it, this is what black men need to do. Cut the dead weight and soar. Okay? Cut the dead weight, chase your dreams, and soar, man. One of my other favorites that I love working with, Bill Schoenig, the longtime voice of the San Antonio Spurs. I don't give a fuck if they're white or not. Can they do the job? Yes? Okay, good. They're a favorite. Hell, the great Vin Scully, the late great Vin Scully, and I hate saying late, the late great Vin Scully. Matter of fact, let me show y'all a picture. I started this mindset at 35. You got to jump. You know what, Corey? I think I already had the mindset. It just took me a long time to stick with it. I think it finally started for me when I turned 40. I think it finally started for me when I turned 40. Let me show you the voices that got me into doing play-by-play. These guys right here, Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr. This was from April of 1987 at Boston Garden before the Bulls played the Celtics in round 1 of the Eastern Conference playoffs. And I'm still going to find that picture I took with Wayne Larrivee. And Wayne Larrivee was recently on my show. You can go look at the Snowman in the Morning channel to find the interview I did with him. And it was such a joy to have him on. Wayne Larrivee, Jim Durham, John Rooney. Some other favorites, Vin Scully. Another favorite, Jack Buck. And you know what my mother used to do to piss me off? Why don't you find any black play-by-play announcers? Because I haven't met him yet. Now there's Gus Johnson. Now there's Greg Gumbel. Those are the two prevalent ones that stuck with me. Although I'd still get I still get made fun of when I tell them my first, you know something, while I'm letting everything off, while I'm keeping nothing off the table, my first dream job was to be a game show host. My first dream job I ever had in life was to be a game show host. Why, you ask? Where is it? Take a listen. I wanted to do that. I wanted to host that show. I never would have made it because I was only 7 years old. But listen, all the game show hosts that have been inspirations to me are all old school. Bill Cullen, Dick Clark, Bob Barker, Wink Martindale, Monty Hall, Peter Tamarkin, who did Pressure Luck. Bob Eubanks did Newlywed Game and Card Sharks. But I wanted The Price is Right, man. If I couldn't get that, hell, I was going to try to get Wheel of Fortune. Couldn't get that. I was too young. But we're talking about inspirations here as I talk about why the face of rebellion needs to stay away from us. How many times, I'll ask the question again, how many times have you been told not to chase your dreams and just think of reality? And how many times did you, and what did it take? Let me ask this. Let me follow up the question with this. How many times have you been told not to chase your dream because it was unattainable? And what finally pushed that final button and broke your back to say, fuck it, I'm chasing it anyway? The more Bulls games I listened to, the more I wanted it. The more White Sox games I listened to, the more I wanted it. Meaning Wayne Larrivee, meaning John Rooney, meaning Bill Schoenig, and having him on as a guest so many times over, it's not even funny. Travis Deemer, the voice of the Portland Trailblazers. Another favorite. Marv Albert, another favorite. You know how many times I did impressions of those guys? You know how many times I still do impressions of those guys? And as my wife playfully says, drives her nuts. Drives her nuts. But she knows why I do it. Let me show you another one that got me all types of excited to want to do play-by-play. Let me take you back to 2005. This fellow, John Rooney. That's me holding a signed baseball by John Rooney and White Sox PA announcer Gene Honda, another fellow I do a lot of impressions of. There's a throwback for you, huh? But that's John Rooney, the current voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. He's another reason I got into this. He's another reason I strap on the headset every time I'm assigned to do it. And now I'm finally to the point where it ain't going to stop me. Why do I say finally to the point? Because I've had fights within myself saying, this is never going to happen. For those of you coming in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this with your friends as I'm getting real here. And if you can, help me and my family out with a Cash App to cash.app/$Tallman Dr. K50. We appreciate you. I got tired. I finally got tired of being told you can't do this. I finally got tired of being told. Matter of fact, y'all want to see a picture? I finally got tired of being told that you're not going to make any money doing this. Says who? Says you. Y'all want to see two of my heroes besides the ones I showed you? Besides John Rooney and Jim Durham? These two right here. My dad on the left and my dearly departed daughter on the right. I lost my dad in 2007 to prostate cancer. 8 years later, I lost Donna to natural causes in 2015. And I had to repeat what I'm about to say next to myself and say it aloud. And you wonder why I hustle as hard as I do. These are two of the reasons. She's another one. I think this is the first time in a while I'm finally letting everything out and not keeping it in anymore. And these kind of streams are going to pop up a lot more when I have something to get off my chest and I need to breathe. But these two right here, big part of my inspiration. because these two, even though she was only 2 years old, that smile told me, Daddy, go get him. This man right here, my father, said to me, quote, don't let anybody, including your mother or myself, stop you from chasing your dreams. This woman right here said, you better chase him and catch him. How about that? What's up, Mr. Dixon? Bro, you were eating good back then. Man, listen, Kevin, I couldn't stop eating for the life of me. I have to now since I lost 5 organs, but I'd rather lose the 5 organs than lose my life to cancer. Salute to the cancer survivors. And Mr. Dixon is another one of my favorites that I see on YouTube. He's always putting good content and good play by play out. I've had many a child, hell, many an adult ask me how I got into it and if I can help them, with the play by play crap. Absolutely. I'd be honored to coach him. Everybody in broadcasting has something distinctive about them. You know what I got told by the gynocracy for years and years and years? That I sounded white. At first, it used to piss me off. Now, it just makes me smile that they recognize what I'm doing is what I love doing. And I'm not changing for anybody. Matter of fact, another fellow who I love dearly that I'm hoping to have on my show, Dave Ennett, the voice of the Northwestern Wildcats. Hell, down Dixon's way, I would love to have met Skip Carey, Pete Van Wieren, and those guys. I would love to have had a chance to meet them. I would love to have had a chance to meet them because I love listening to them when they were on TBS. Hell, truth be told, I love listening to Skip Carey, whether he was the radio voice of the Braves or the television voice of Turner Sports. He accomplished and knocked out everything. And now I'm going to show you a picture of one of the fellows I met, another one of the fellows I met, because you saw John Rooney. And I recently had him on my show, and I was so excited to have him. This fellow right here, Wayne Larrabee. I met him at Butler University, Hinkle Fieldhouse in 2013. While I was in the midst of fighting for my daughter, because unfortunately, I had to surrender my daughter to a forced adoption. I'll let you take a guess as to the reason. But when I met him, it not only kept the dream alive, but kept me active in it. When I see men giving up their dreams on a daily basis, because they tell me, they've all told me there was something they had to give up. And I ask them why. And they're like, I was told to give it up. Like, why did you listen? I have a family to take care of myself, but they're all behind me. I'll show you another fellow who, well before me, he was older than I, had a chance to interview the late, great Jim Durham. But he was one of my best friends. I lost him to COVID, but he was my baseball partner for 4 years. Best times I ever had. The gentleman on your right is Mark Farina. We covered Roosevelt University baseball for 2 seasons. We did a lot of high school games together. And it was just so apropos that when it was baseball season and time for us to make the rounds in Chicago, he was there for me. He was there a week after I had to come home from Indianapolis after losing my daughter. He was there. He parked on the side of the road and let me get it out. He let me bawl my eyes out when I lost Donna. Kevin says, what makes one a good broadcaster? A willingness not to give up, a willingness to always learn, a willingness to always study, be accountable for your mistakes. Because I had a bunch of hiccups today during my game with the Astros and the Boston Red Sox. Show up, show out, chart your mistakes, get ready for the next one. Kevin, I hope that answers your question. It's a simple philosophy, but I hadn't made it simple. Taking accountability for myself, I hadn't made it simple for the longest time. Until now. I've got to stay with the old school. I've got to stay with what got me to where I am. And while I'm letting things out, I cannot tell you how many times the gynocracy laughed at me because I sounded white. No, I sound like me with a command of the English language. And oh, by the way, for all of the members of the gynocracy who kept telling me, you need to find some black comedians that you like instead of the white ones. How about the fact that 2 of my favorites, one was white and one was black? Y'all know them, George Carlin, Richard Pryor. God rest them both. Matter of fact, Kevin, I got a present for you. I got a present for y'all. I know I say y'all a lot. Sometimes I can't help it. But I'm going to play a clip for you that's one of my own. This is from 2021 in Lewisburg, North Carolina. And it's one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy it. At second, Galinsky at first, nobody out. The pitch. Swinging a drive into deep center field. Miller back at the track, looking up. See you later! The Mad Dog has done it! We are tied at 7 and nobody out! Attaboy, Mad Dog! Oh, he was ready for that one and blasted it out of here. I was in Lewisburg, North Carolina, and one of my favorite calls, not just because it's my own, but because of the connection it finally gave me to the kids, especially when I came up with the nickname Mad Dog for Noah Madison, who hit that home run. I got home that night and he sent me a friend request on Twitter and he said, "Can you cut that home run call?" Well, Mad Dog, I hope you're looking. Second, Galinsky at first, nobody out. The pitch. Swinging a drive into deep center field. Miller back at the track, looking up. See you later! The Mad Dog has done it! We are tied at 7 and nobody out! I miss those kids. That's what does it for me. Knowing that Many of them won't get a chance to pursue a Major League Baseball dream or an NBA dream, but to be that voice for them. And just to give them that thrill. I'll show you another one. Natasha's great energy in that call. Thank you. You know what makes my wife laugh? When I do go nuts for these kids. But the great thing is she understands it. The mindset opens up once you physically and mentally get away from the plantation. Keep kicking butt for your dreams. Once you stop chasing your dreams, you stop living. Damn right. I stopped and started so many times, it's not even funny. It took me literally to age 50 and getting over cancer and getting back into it and finally diving in for me to get off that plantation. Here's another call of mine. 2012 with Trinity International in Chicago. I'll tell you about the game in a minute. Just know this got us back into it.
Pena waits and takes the snap. He'll fire the screen, complete to Beals, 10, 15. Oh, this is trouble. One man to beat. 40, 50. Go, Danny, go. 30, 20, 10, 5. Good night. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
And to think we lost that game on a walk-off. I play that call every year on Danny Beals' birthday. I nicknamed him the Mississippi Missile because he was just so damn fast. I play that and post that on this timeline every year. Just to bring back the memories. I had one young man on that TIU team. He was born and raised in Hawaii. What's up, Nick? He was born and raised in Hawaii, and the young man's name is Dylan Turk. So he made an incredible catch, and all of a sudden, the nickname that just popped out of me was the Hawaiian Turk, and it stuck. And it stuck. But those kids are one of the main reasons why I do it. Now, here's another one of my favorites from 6 years ago, the year Jody and I met.
Motion, handoff, McFerrin, running off right tackle, and McFerrin is loose. Goodbye, baby. 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
If that don't give y'all inspiration enough to keep chasing your dreams, no matter what it is, then I haven't done my job. Like Corey said, I had to physically and mentally get away from the plantation. Not just get away from it, get off of it and get away from it. Because it seems like with black men, every time they seem to have gotten away from the plantation, they get yanked back in somehow. True or false? I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying that to be controversial. I'm saying that because it is true, because it happened to me. I'm saying that because it is true, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen too many damn times. And too many damn times it happened to me. That's why SYSBM is so prevalent and so true and so necessary. And we got to come together to help each other out. Put our head to the grindstone, no matter what field we're in, no matter how long we've been at it, but just to get after it. The first thing you do is attack. What's the next thing? There is no next thing because you don't stop attacking. Men, that's what we have to do. We cannot stop attacking, cannot stop chasing those dreams, because if you put those dreams down, someone is going to pick it up from where you left off with all of your hard work and the credit going to the person who picked it up instead of you. Something else my dad told me a long time ago: follow your heart. Follow your heart. I followed my heart for 30 years. I followed my heart. This will be my 30th year doing play-by-play and doing sports commentary. This will be my 30th year. I've seen the Metrodome before they demolished it. I've seen New Comiskey Park. I've seen Wrigley Field. I've seen Walsh Ryan Arena at Northwestern. I've seen Ford Field in Detroit. But I haven't seen it all yet. Do I want to? Yeah, but I want to see it over the course of the rest of my life. And part of that is the biggest reason why I married the woman I married, because she told me flat out, and she tells me every day, don't stop chasing your dreams. And then she finally said to me, if you stop, then what? Nothing to live for. And I'm not going out that way. I'm not going out that way. Have I had thoughts of committing suicide? And yeah, I'm going to say it plainly. I'm going to say it plainly. I have entertained thoughts of ending my life many a time over. Many. Don't do it. Don't go down that path. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Because if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll have and hear every excuse to quit. I had excuses today to just stop my stream and say, you know what, I'll get ready for tomorrow when the Astros play Tampa Bay. But I'm glad I didn't stop. And I want to put Corey's comment up there as a little bit of inspiration. It does open up physically and mentally and spiritually when you get away from the plantation. I have someone that has been in my life for 6 years and will be in my life forever. And will be in my life forever to keep me on that path as I keep her on hers to get her doctorate. I'm not giving up. I can't. I simply can't, and I won't. I can't tell you how many times I have looked in the face of rebellion and cowered. Now I'm looking in the face of the rebellion and looking in the face of the gynocracy, and I'm flipping them off and keep going. Well, you don't have this, and you don't have that, and you don't have this. So the fuck what? If you don't like me for what I do have, and are not going to be there when we build this goddamn thing, then fuck a whole lot of you. I don't give 2/5 of a half of a good goddamn what y'all think. Do you like me for who I am? If not, step off. I've told many a black woman that. When I got the nerve, and they look at me like, the nerve of you to tell me that. I can say a whole lot worse, but I'm trying to be nice. I can say much, much worse. And believe me, you don't want me to. And you're right, Victor. I've seen the corruption of the establishment. In many cases, I pushed the plunger on that son of a bitch. I've seen the corruption. I've seen the corruption of the establishment, especially when it comes to black men chasing their dreams. And you know the best part about it? I'm one of the ones that pushed the plunger on that son bitch at the base of the mountain. And if I got to put on my gloves and push the plunger on that son bitch again to crumple another mountain, then so be it. So be it. Me and the Nicotina Network are going to do that 49ers show this season with Cole Johnson being the executive producer and helping me put the graphics and the storylines and everything together. Team effort, gentlemen. Team effort. That's what we got to have now. Team effort. Once again, to read Victor's comment, more so, you are the rebellion now. You've seen the corruption of the establishment and you are rebelling. Damn right. And I'll say it again, what I said just a few moments ago. Many of the times I pushed the plunger on that son of a bitch. I'll push the plunger on that son of a bitch again. Gladly. I'll gladly push the plunger on that son of a bitch again. Because I'm tired of seeing men fall short of their dreams because of something they could not control, like the gynocracy, perhaps, like society, perhaps. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, burnt the son bitch when I got done with it. When it comes to the rebellion and the faces they're in, I'll push the plunger on that bitch every single time to pave the way for men to chase their dreams and not only chase them, but catch them. The backbone of the black community does not exist, and it hasn't existed for a long time because the men were forced out of the role. They were forced out. Now we are walking away voluntarily because the grass is never greener on that side of the fence. Ever. Let me leave y'all with this, man. First of all, the immortal words of the late great Jim Valvano. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Ever. I beg of you guys, don't go down the roads mentally that I have gone down, even recently. It's not worth the exploration. It's not worth looking down there just to see what it would be like if you did end things. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, and it never will be worth it. And the second thing I always say this at the end of my show, and I mean every word of it. Someone showed me to this on a sign, and it has stuck with me the day it was shown to me. If your dreams do not scare you, then they're just simply not big enough. I couple it with dream big and do bigger, because we all can do that. You can dream big, you can do bigger, but don't forget to put in the work to get there. And you won't forget to put in the work to get there because it's your dream that you're chasing. The face of rebellion frightens the piss out of me. But I enjoy the fuck out of it because I'm looking it in the eye and giving him a couple of these. Nah. If you like what you heard, and I hope you have, please consider helping me and my family. Please consider it because we could use the help right now for me to get on my feet, my wife to get on hers, and to keep chasing those dreams and knocking them all down. Because there's a lot of dreams us men can knock down, a lot of walls we can knock down. I leave you with the words of Doc Rivers. I know you all want to win, but you got to do it together. We got to do it together, gentlemen. With that, I say to you all good night. And thank you for tuning in.